We have no other option, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So I hope that this works.
But like, is anyone experiencing bad reception of what we are?
No, it's good.
How is YouTube so?
Oh, it's not YouTube, it's Chrome. All right, good. So we are here because when I opened YouTube, it told me like, do you want to discard your changes? And it was like on the monetization thing, and it did it twice. And then I looked at the scheduled stream and refreshed and refreshed and refreshed, and nothing was there. But if not a helpful suggestion, if everybody can see us, then we are all good. All right.
Ooh, very good.
So
we have survived.
The winner of this week's poll, it was Tpaalha.
Which I didn't, like, I must have scrolled back too far and looked at...
Ingala was winning for a long time.
Anyway, so one of the reasons we're a little bit late is not just because David had the mishap with, like, potentially stopping, discarding all the streams, but also because I had opened all the wrong documents. And so I was sitting here thinking I was prepared, and then David was suddenly like, we're doing Tpaalha today. And I was like, what? And so before we could really start the stream, I needed to get all those open, and it was just a whole thing.
Yeah.
New episode of Logan's Theory Neutral.
Yeah. It was your fault, Jonathan. I actually went and voted for Ingala at the end, but Tpaalha still won by 1 vote. But in honor of Tpaalha winning, I decided to don this new shirt that Jessie got me for Christmas.
Oh my god, totally.
That is the Wild Possum Band. And this is the logo that was on screen very briefly in the Dolly Parton Sylvester Stallone movie Rhinestone, where her father has a band that is apparently called the Wild Possum Band. And I took a photo of it because this is what's on the drum head. And Jessie copied it lovingly and made a shirt out of it.
Yeah, and I looked for actual shirts. Like, I was like, I will support a vendor if they are selling the Wild Possum Band shirts. And so I went and searched for it online. And let me say, there was nothing based on the movie that came out of those searches. And so, I ended up just making the shirt, and I love this color.
Yeah. It's funny because we were just watching an episode of Murder, She Wrote the other day. One episode, and this is in season 10 of Murder, She Wrote, well past the point in time where the show was extremely popular. And there is one episode where they have a carnival in Cabot Cove, and they, for whatever reason, decided to make a logo with a couple of pins and shirts that says the Cabot Cove Charity Carnival, and has a crab on it, and you can buy that shirt online.
And yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't appear in any other episode.
Don't know why that one episode got a T-shirt, but Wild Possum Band from was it Leiper's Fork or Leaper's Fork? I forget how they pronounce it.
I think it's Leapers.
I forget how they pronounce it.
Yeah, Leaper's Fork, Tennessee.
But yeah, so why?
This is the second Tennessee shirt that Jessie has bought for me.
That is true. Oh, also bought him a Tennessee Titans shirt, his oh-so-favorite football team. Which is not really. Long story short, he got signed up for a list. And
the joke behind it is I've tried to remove myself from the Tennessee Titans mailing list for many seasons to no avail. Every single time I try to remove myself, I remain on the list and get weekly updates on what's going on with the Tennessee Titans football team, despite my best efforts.
And Tethys is right. You are the only 10 I see.
Aww.
Okay, so hello to everyone here. Thank you for being here. We have a lot of things coming up.
Yeah.
including a poll, but I also want to debut. Oh, wait, did you have an announcement first? And then I'm going to debut something.
I think yours is more important. And so I would prefer to save it till after the bargain bin announcements.
Okay, bargain bin announcements first, including I'm trying the green kombucha. We're gonna see. I've never had this one before. It's literally green. My mouth may be green by the end of this. I apologize in advance.
They literally just, after somebody mowed the lawn, they
blended up all the cuttings.
Yeah, and put it in this drink and said, well, they'll buy anything in a store nowadays.
Okay. Smells like kombucha. You can go on with your bargain bin announcement. Oh. That's nice. I like it. I'll be drinking that. You will hate it more than you hate most kombuchas. So I will.
I don't believe you.
Oh my God, David. But Jonathan, snickerdoodle, and kombucha are two things that should not be combined.
They'll say it's flavored like that. It's just going to taste like kombucha.
All right. Everyone get ready for a screen grab. I think Jonathan is screen grab patron of the year, so be ready.
Marine Greens, and that's trademarked, by the way.
Yeah, be very careful. This
Synergy Raw Kombucha.
This stuff could stain, I think.
GT Synergy Raw Kombucha, the unofficial sponsor of Jessie's half of LangTime Studio.
I feel my cells coming to life. There is spirulina in it.
Spirulina.
Like, I don't know why you even try.
Oh, it's even worse.
There's spirulina, chlorella, and blue-green algae is what I'm drinking. And David needs the delayed reaction.
It keeps coming back, vaguely flavored of rice. Oh.
So Miles, this is actually quite delightfully flavored.
Oh God.
And so
you're right, Miles. It is nasty.
And of course, Miles said tasty, not nasty, but David will read.
Oh.
No, they knew what they were typing. It says tasty.
Oh God.
It is, Patrick, and I always look forward to interesting ways to get more green in my life. Because, you're supposed to eat the rainbow, and I do a fairly decent job at that, but I feel like green is the best part of the rainbow, and so I do try to do.
Oh, God. Okay.
David is not all for this life. Thank you, Tethys. Thank you.
I don't remember what I was even going to say.
You had a bargain bin announcement.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was, one of them. The poll finished up. I mean, it was honestly a really straightforward result. And so I want to talk about that somehow with things. Where is he?
I don't know. Like, 1.5 million tabs open over here. Do you want me to pull it up? I've got it pulled up.
I've got it. Let me make sure there wasn't a change right at the end.
I will show everyone. I can't show you without the options being right there in your face, so you'll see some of the votes.
It was a clean sweep. So we were kind of trying to come up with a word for magic that was going to get borrowed around, and we came up with 5 possibilities: Nacha, Nucho, Sanya, Haja, and Kuyo. And this was going to take the place of a word meaning magic points or mana or something else. So it's not the word for magic; it's the word for essentially the currency that is used for drafting magic spells. And basically, like this result, it just plays across all 3 polls. There were some that got some other votes, but Sanya was the clear winner.
I do like that.
Jake, that's pretty good. By the way, there is a magic spell in Spanish, and I didn't know what it was till later, because my mother would just say it to me, and it's just whenever you get hurt, she would she would take, the spot that would hurt, I'd come crying. This is a little child. And I'd come crying to her, and she'd pick me up, and she'd rub the spot, and she'd say, don't worry, I'll make it feel better. I have a magic spell. And she would say, sana, sana, colita de rana, si no sanas hoy, sanarás mañana. All right, but then when you say sanarás mañana, you just start tickling the child, and then they start laughing, and then they feel a little better. Sana, sana means like be well, be well. Colita de rana is a frog knee. There's a dirtier version, and I don't know which one is the accurate one, but essentially like, the knee of a frog. So be well, knee of a frog. Si no sanas hoy, if you're not better today, sanarás mañana means you will be better tomorrow.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so it's a cute little magic spell, and so Jake wrote in there is, si no saña hoy, sañarás mañana. It should be sañarás, I think. I don't know, unless you have a very formal relationship with your child.
Right.
In which case, why would you be doing this?
And Jonathan said they took like 47 screenshots, so we'll get even more takes of your reaction there.
A Victorian child. Father, my knee is in distress. Well then, perhaps you shall be better on the morrow. I acknowledge his father, and then he goes to his room and is never seen again. Speaking of you British, I have to just throw this out here. Like, I thought it was just a joke where you all were saying different to, because the whole thing that you learn in school, it's not different to, it's different from, right? And then I thought this was just like a joke, an elaborate joke you were playing where you kept on saying different to. Like, they all do it, and apparently it's an old thing over there. What the heck? They're supposed to be the formal ones, the fancy ones.
I don't know.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know.
British. By the way, we got some yard work going on out there.
Oh my gosh, so much. And it's not just yard work. They actually climbed the tall tree, and they're chopping down those branches at the top to clean it. And so David's really not looking out the window. But the tall tree out there, straight out there, branches have been flying down, raining down during the morning.
The tree trimming they forethreatened that was supposed to be done by the 18th of December. I remember.
Well, we had a lot of rain. Okay, so...
Oh, I guess that's another way of thinking of it. But no, I always heard it in the second person.
Also, hello, Graham.
All right, so that was the first announcement. So Sanya is going to be our cat word for a magical resource. And I think that's going to get borrowed around. In fact, we're probably going to talk about that today in Tpaalha. The second announcement is that this is the last stream of Season 5.5. As you may recall, Season 5.5 was a little in-between season, between Season 5 and Season 6, where we kind of we worked on each of our languages in order again, because, there was a little in-between time. It was at the end of the year. And then for last week, we voted on which language to work on. We worked on Sarkije. And then for this week, we voted on which language to work on, and that's Tpaalha. And so we've had a 7-week mini season, Season 5.5. Next week is Season 6. And
Yay!
If you can actually go to our Patreon page, the top poll.
Yes, I can. I need a little more algae before I do it.
Okay, there we are. This is where the poll stands right now.
Tomorrow is Mateus's birthday. No, not tomorrow. The day after.
Yeah.
Is Mateus's birthday. Saturday.
All right. I'm gonna add Fox and Beaver channels to the Discord. But I wanted to say this about this poll, because I want to be sure everybody understands what we're voting for, okay? Both of these languages are going to be made. This is just a matter of ordering, deciding which language is going to come first. The Fox language is going to be built on the proto-language of the dog language. And now, like, I know people are saying, well, biologically, blah, blah, blah. That's not, remember, that's not an issue. It's about how the animals group together. And the story with the foxes is that they group together with the dogs, wolves too. They were essentially they all grouped together as kind of commonwealth. They were the various clans. Early on, the foxes left, wolves as well, because they just were not gelling with the rest of the dog community. And so they were a breakaway group. They broke away at some point in time in the early history of the language, and so we're going to see a different development of Hauhof. And we did just do Hauhof, so in one way, or at least looking at it one way, it's fresh in our minds. So we'll be able to move forward with it a bit better. But another way of looking at it is it's going to be kind of season 5 again. It's like a different take on it. Anyway, so I just wanted everybody who is voting to be aware of that, because that might sound like something really cool to you. On the other hand, if you were thinking, it's just going to be a brand new unrelated language, but it's going to be foxes, and you'd rather see something new, maybe that's a reason to vote for the beaver language instead. Give yourself a season break before getting back to Hauhof, or a Hauhof related language. Anyway, so throwing that out there, because as you can see, I think it's one vote. I don't know for certain with that many votes, but it could be separated by one vote. Anyway,
I feel like it kind of has to be, because there is no 50% of 31.
Yeah.
And so
true.
Like I
literally think separated by one vote.
I think it's 16 to 15 right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And this poll is going to go all the way up until the next stream. May have to cut it off a little bit earlier,
so we can actually
set it
metadata.
Up. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that, since this is literally the last week to vote. This will be our last major stream before season 6. We are going to have one more patron live stream this Saturday.
This year. We will have more in the future, but this year, final patron live stream this Saturday. And it's going to happen.
Okay.
I may be a little bit late, but David will start it at 1.
Yes. All right. So.
Because I have a dentist appointment that morning.
Oh, right. Okay. So that was the business announcements that we needed to get done before we moved on with Tpaalha. Now for the big announcement that's unrelated to LangTime Studio.
So I love. We built up to this announcement, so 20 minutes in, still haven't gotten to what we're doing today. But
I'll follow up and chat with what's going on.
But, oh, nice. I do have something that I've been working on. I have hinted at this for the last several weeks. I've mentioned I'm working on a project, and I finally sat down and got the website ready so I can actually show everyone and hopefully drum up some interest in a project that will be debuting on January 1st. So I have a website now at quothalinguist.com. Quothalinguist is what I go by on all the social medias, and so that's how you can find me. My new project is called Conlang Year, and what it's going to be is every single day I'm going to be posting a prompt to help guide people through the process of language creation, but it's not meant to be something that, you have to be a beginner to do it, or that you have to be advanced to do it. Really, you could be an advanced conlanger and use it as a way of saying, every day I'm going to do something in conlanging, but it's going to be short and sweet because I have to do this one task, and you try to just focus your energy, answer this one prompt, and then move on with your day. And so, if you need some rejuvenation in your conlang life, hopefully this helps. But also, if you have not yet started a conlang, or if you're still a beginner, kind of in the throes of going through the stages, then you can follow along and create your first language this year. And so this is going to be happening on quothalinguist.com. I will post on other social medias, but it's really just going to be the image of the prompt. It's all going to say, go to the website for the full information. And I've actually got one post up so far. So right now my website is very sparse. But you can read more about me if you don't really know who I am. If you haven't figured that out yet, you can read more about me here. I will be doing a post every day leading up to January 1st just to get people ready, including, like a post on, I will give you what I call my conlang rules and some different things like that. So over the next few days, I will be putting something up every day. And then January 1st is when the real fun starts. And so that is my new project. If you're so inclined, I would love it if you followed along, tried it out, and if you do, hashtag it Conlang Year, so that way we can find all the entries online. I'm actually going to be doing what I do every time I lead a sort of teaching thing. I always create a new language myself to go with it. And so I am sort of doing a remake, but not based on my old language. I am creating a new language for gnomes, not at all related to my old Gnoma. So not at all related, not at all the same project, but this is going to be for a different set of gnomes that are a bit more Nissa-like, inspired by Hilda, the wonderful cartoon. And so, although they're going to be much nicer than the Nissa there. But anyway, I am excited to be doing that. So that is the big, could give us the escalator pitch. Well, that, Miles, is on the About Me tab, where you get the professional bio, and then that's the About Me tab. But then when you go to the main site, this is the detailed version, and you can get things like the cow and KopiCon.
Oh my God! It's the first day's stream since Christmas. Nobody's seen. I mean, oh, holy smoke! All right, hold on.
I just sent David on a mission. Yeah, Jake, the KopiCon banner is on there. I was going to put a picture of all of us, but then I was like, I should probably find out if people are okay with me posting pictures of them online on websites before I go using pictures online. I don't want anyone to feel like I forced them to be in an online space they weren't ready to be.
All right, everybody, meet Cowsy. This is something that Jessie made. She made this, made it for me, and Cowsy exists now.
Love you.
Oh, I tried to kiss you but failed.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
All right. But yeah,
yes.
Isn't this incredible? Look at this. I'm putting it really close so you can kind of see the detail. I mean, it's just extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Oh no, Cowsy, Miles, is quite large, as you can see when you see it in real life. But yeah, some people thought it was quite. Yeah, there's the little animal I made.
Dog for scale.
No, this one was sort of an epic undertaking, and yeah, that took quite a while.
Yeah, Jessie had been working on it for, was it months or weeks?
It took the last month because I didn't start work on it really super until after.
You can see the eye. His hair is a little messy, so I wanted to show you the eye. Just a wonderful, wonderful friend.
It was in earnest. I was working on it after Thanksgiving because, we had other things. Okay, so Moomongus. It is Moomongus. So anyway, those are my announcements. So,
all right.
Yay! And yeah, I'll like I said, keep posting in the next few days and let people know. So, oh, and also I saw somebody, was it Patrick? Tethys. Oh, something like a mailing list. Oh, I'm not even going to say how long it took me just to figure out how to set up a website. I'll think about a mailing list if I can figure that out. Right now I'm so low key is the wrong word.
Yeah.
I had to relearn everything I thought I knew about the internet trying to make a website just now because it's all changed.
I'm going to mention this. There have been times where I thought about it would be lovely for me to set up a mailing list just for various reasons. And I went and looked at it, and what I discovered was that all the mailing list applications that I knew of begin to charge you money to keep the mailing list going if you had a certain reach.
Oh.
And so it essentially punished you for your success. And it's like the mailing list was not something that I was going to use to like actively make money. You know, it was just going to be a thing where it was like, but it's like, especially like before COVID, when I had a fairly large Twitter following, when Twitter was the thing, I figured if I announced a mailing list, there would be a bunch of people that would sign up. Probably a bunch of people that would sign up and just stay on the mailing list, even if like they didn't read any of it at
went
all.
Straight to their junk.
And like I was going to be charged money for all of this. It just didn't seem worthwhile to me, so that's why I never did it. But yeah, no, like RSS is something separate. That's just something you can sign up for. I can explain to you what RSS is later.
No, I've used it before because blogs used to be much more popular. So I actually had like RSS readers where I could follow all my favorite blogs and things like that.
Oh man, like that was one of the things that I set up in the early days. I created a conlang aggregator for the LCS that took the RSS feeds of various conlang blogs and then just posted them. And it was really cool, but that was back when people did blogs more.
And also, and Substack does charge money. It's a very interesting system because I had actually looked into Substack, and then I forget the name of the other one that's like it, where people, can write. And with Substack, Medium was the other one I looked at. So with Substack, it only goes to the people who pay for access to your content. And so you kind of have to have a following before you do Substack. Medium, as an author, you have to pay to be able to post. And then there are ways to earn money after that. But it's a very interesting thing where it's so Medium is the one that would be free for everyone to access, I think. Substack is the one where only people who pay can read your content. And at that point, I may as well be posting on Patreon.
I thought Medium was an online news magazine.
Medium is just for writers to write. And so we can access it for free, but the people who write and post things have to pay to be a part of that community to actually be able to write and post on it.
I did not know that. I thought it was, just kind of New York Times, Ars Technica, Medium.
Mm-mm. It's a bunch of people who like to write. So anyway, good question. I don't know how Substacks would be free because everything I've seen is it's a paid model where people pay to access. Anyway, David is now off. We are now going to focus on Tpaalha, I think. And
yeah, so if you can pull up the sound changes.
And let's see, this one is Tpaalha. And we can figure out, so Sanya is what magic points are called in the cat language. We can figure out how the possums would say it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just thrown for a loop. Let me pull up old Tpaalha here.
Well, listen, I researched a whole lot of things. There's a reason I was just I'm going to do a website with blog posts. Because it's people aren't going to find me unless they're looking for me anyway. And the different levels and tiers of who could access what, it was just too much. So I was I'm just doing a website.
Okay, stress. I think it's actually going to line up very nicely. Because as I recall, stress is penultimate when it ends in a vowel, ultimate when it ends in a consonant. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Yep. And it has a palatal nasal And this is a borrowing. So yeah, it would just be Sanya.
So
I'm gonna when we get on a groove doing something else, I'm gonna do the cat entry. But for right now, I'm going to try to add.
Magpie saw a bunch of stuffed Christmas possums at the courthouse. Did you get a picture, Magpie?
Were they getting married?
The stuffed Christmas possums?
Yeah.
Maybe.
What's the difference between an Australian possum? I know that we looked that up, but I've forgotten.
Oh, that is too sad. However, if you like to draw, Magpie, if you could draw us a picture of these stuffed Christmas possums, I would love to see it. Or if someone else just wants to draw some stuffed Christmas possums, that just sounds delightful. Jake. Oh my goodness.
Okay, here we go. So this is going to be, and that comes from Sarkege.
I don't even know what SAAS is standing for. You're talking about SAS, capital S's, lowercase a's.
Oh, that I don't know either. I would actually like to know. Somebody please elucidate.
Software as a service. Oh. Interesting. I don't even understand what that means, really. But wow. Oh, so you pay someone else to run your software on their machine. Okay.
Is that like FontStruct? Honest question. So like FontStruct is a website that you can use to make a font, but you don't actually download anything. It's all done on the website. And
I actually thought it came up first after I had mentioned the model that Medium has, where the authors pay to use it, and then Medium hosts it, and then other people can access it, but like you have to pay on your end to be able to use it.
I mean, FontStruct theoretically would be the same way if you had to pay for it.
Okay.
And I'm sure it does have paid features, otherwise it couldn't exist being that popular.
Interesting. Okay, so David is making the, well now, I need to find Tpaalha again. And go to, oh my goodness, this is.
All right, so I'm getting there.
Oh, you copied it. I was like, wow, it comes out as Tariba? It took my brain a second to realize what was happening. Mia, I hope you enjoy the rest of your work right now.
Oh, all right. It's so good to see you, Mia. And by the way, I don't know if she's already gone, but Mia, I don't know if you saw, but your post on Fiat Lingua made the top 10 for the year. So that's pretty cool. Because it's not just the top 10 of the things that were posted this year, which wouldn't be very interesting, since there are only 12 posts and the last one doesn't have time to get enough views. But it's top 10 of those posts accessed by anybody, anywhere on Fiat Lingua. So that includes like all the, top posts from over the years. So that's pretty cool. Anyway.
And that was the road trip one, right?
Yes, it was.
Nice.
All right.
All right. So, do you want? I'm gonna put mana. Should I put magic points on the English side?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. Figure I can do a little something. Magic.
I did the protoform from Tpaalha.
Okay.
But but I didn't do the protoform for Mokufiju unless that
Ooh,
happened.
thank you, Miles. Sorry that now that we're finally getting to Tpaalha, you have to go, but hope you enjoy your family time.
All right. Okay, that's all set. Now, how does...
Sugar gliders are technically possums? Can someone verify this? That is crazy.
Okay, looks like you can just write NYA. Trick.
Oh, I wanted to come up here and see what you were doing.
So yeah, you can just spell it like that.
There we go. You finally showed up. It wasn't even showing your little point. Your little, I think Pages is lagging a little bit.
So there we go. That is entered. All right, lovely.
Delightful. They're not opossum, but possum. So sugar gliders are possums, no O.
What? That's supposed to be a non-standard, like, cutesy thing.
Gliding possum is apparently a whole group of animals in Australia. You're right, Alice. Possum Air Force. No O in front of it.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm just reading what's in the comments.
I know, but oh wait, here we go. Phalangeriforms, or possums, any number of arboreal marsupial species native to Australia.
So, okay, I updated that one. We're done with that.
Invasive in New Zealand. Look at these little invaders.
Oh, they are cute, but that is. Tincture wants to know what you mean by a non-standard cutesy thing. And David just means it's like dialectal and it's meant to just be kind of like
I learned
a cute term.
Back when we were doing Tpaalha, that was where I learned for the first time that possum was not the correct term, that opossum was. I thought that opossum was a hypercorrection. Like
between you and
I was trying to think of one where it's like it didn't begin with an N, but now it does in English because of an in front of it. All I can think of is the opposite,
right?
Where like uncle used to be nuncle.
Was it napkin one of them?
Was napkin one that used to be apkin? Newt? Really? It used to be oot?
Oh, there you go, Patrick. Nickname.
No,
yeah, because
really?
it was ickname.
As in like an also? Like coming from also?
Maybe.
So yeah, ickname would be a hypercorrection. I assumed that opossum was a hypercorrection. Turns out that it was not. And now you're telling me that possum actually exists. Unbelievable. Yeah, additional. Just like auch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
An also name. Nice. And so yeah, like that N got passed around. So like Matei showed the example of napron was the old word, and then it became an apron, sort of like misparsing. Same with umpire. It was numpia, right, from French.
Oh wow. And so yeah, rebracketing is the word, and
and napkin is not one of them. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Rebracketing can result in two different things: one, the loss of a segment, or two, the addition of a segment. And so nickname is an example of rebracketing causing a new segment to be added to the front, whereas one of them is up here. Apron is an example of something being removed from the front. Anyway, so I thought that opossum was the hypercorrection, but no, possum.
Didn't it happen in Spanish too with the with grapes, las uvas?
Mm.
Didn't the S get re-bracketed? I forget whether it was suva or
Really?
uva.
Really? This is news to me.
I think it did happen.
It just seemed like such a natural word for grape, starting with a vowel the way that grapes do. It comes from Latin uva.
Oh, maybe not. I thought somewhere someone had like suva now instead of uva because of the las uvas. But anyway.
From the Greek, oa.
These things that I halfway remember something, but I don't remember the exact example. It's really unfortunate.
Well, now I what if it got borrowed somewhere else?
Well, look up suva.
Let's do it
and see if it exists. But no, as far as that's concerned, it does not. So never mind. Hey, Carl, I misremembered some detail, but yeah, peas was in fact a back formation where people thought it was marked in the plural when it wasn't. Peas was just singular, and they thought it had the plural S, so it then became P as a singular.
Whoa.
And so, fun things happen. So all these little things that like you can build into languages as you create them too, because you can think about if you have like a plural prefix or suffix, and think about how speakers could misparse that if it just shows up as part of a word instead of actually being the affix. Like that could be really fun.
Oh, there's a cute one in Spanish. You'll sometimes hear people to refer to the, biceps, bicepes, as if there's a plural in there.
Nice. All right. What are we doing today? Tpaalha, but where are we going from here? And now we're just reading chat.
I can't tell if Patrick's making a joke. Magpies is true, as far as I know.
I feel like Patrick is making a joke.
It could be from a different language where op is a thing. I don't know. Gosh, goodness gracious. Okay. Okay. Anyway, all right. So it's Tpaalha. We're doing something with it.
And Patrick is indeed joking.
Oh, thank God. All right.
Matei says it's Patrick. Do not trust. Cannot trust these wily fellows, as Matei says.
Okay, so this is you have the
vocab list, and then I also have the document.
I thought that we did have a word for shield. That we did that last time.
Not in Tpaalha.
No, we do. It's jock.
Oh. What? Sorry, where did you see that up? Oh, that was the verb, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like shield is the not
never
as the action of doing that versus like a weapon or a something to be carried. We did not yet get to tank, but you had said we would need to do Wokitisu before we got there.
I'm going to take a look at...
we have everything else named. However, if they have... I think you may be looking at magic users.
Yeah, so tank we're going to avoid.
We're going to... Yeah, wait.
So they have two types of magic users, or at least the magic users in the traditional sense. In some way, bards are actually magic users, but they're rather oblivious to this. They're not actually aware of how they are affecting this change. They don't give it much thought. However, there is one caster, so that's the one where the cats are the primary caster, but then they are the ones that have what I've been calling necromancers, but they can use dark magic, light magic, and solid magic. It's a state. And so their magic spells are things like, for the light ones, they can heal, but they can also do invisibility. That's their kind of in-between thing. They can curse people, so it's like or poison them. I have to come up with a consistent name, but essentially, like there are damage over time mechanics where if it's burn, I think it. Yeah, burn targets, they take damage on their next turn, and then it goes away, unless it's removed beforehand. The poison or cursing, whatever I end up calling it, that you take 1 damage per turn until it's removed, and so it keeps going. It's far more vicious. And so there's that. They also the earth magic. They've got earthquakes and making sludge pits and things like that. Anyway, so that's the type of thing that the opossums do.
Like, I feel like I intuitively have figured out what you mean in the last few seconds by sludge pit, but I also think I've never heard of that.
A pit of sludge?
I don't know what I would have called such a thing, but I, like, off the top of my head, I know I have another word for it, but like right now my brain is just like fuzzing out. But like, very interesting. Okay. So if anyone can give me other words for sludge pit, please tell me, because like now my brain is like, what would I call that?
Well, it's like, it's just a mud pit that retards movement.
Sure. No, like I get it. It's just
But in this case, like the mud pit, that's all it does. It just puts a mud pit on the board and it's slow to move through. Sludge actually does that, but also gives you a poison token. Yeah. Anyway.
Quagmire, bog, marsh. These are all very difficult things to get through. Okay. Liquefaction. Oh, a fin. I hadn't even thought of that. Mm-hmm. Oh, getting some good words here.
Somebody that pulls somebody out of a fin is a defender.
Anyway.
I get 1 a day.
Anyway, it's my job to do things like silly little things like that. Yeah, Jonathan, I also heard sludge pit the first time he said it, and then I realized it needed to be sludge, but I probably said sludge just because I was just repeating, and then I heard the second time that it's literally sludge.
Well, a sludge pit is where you get the material to make a sledgehammer.
You get 1. You used it already. Okay. I was in the midst of doing actual work, David.
Yeah. Okay, so we know that the opossums revere their ancestors. So maybe there can be terms for these that's somehow related to the word for ancestor. Let's see what we got.
Is necromancer within the cast and then they also have a caster, or is it out of the casters they have 3 necromancers?
These are the generic English terms I used for essentially terms that we needed terms for.
Right, but like
so
I'm just trying to make
caster is separate.
Okay.
Necromancer.
And there's 1 of them?
For the opossums, yes, there's only 1 of them.
And then how many stars?
Yeah, I actually might borrow the cat term for that. Sure, I'll give you that. The caster is tier 3,
okay.
And the necromancers are tiers 2, 4, and 5.
2, 4, 5. Okay. Let's take that away. I will need to change the bullet shape, but I can't do that while everybody's watching.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll want want a different. Do we have the wizard cat? How is the wizard cat not an option?
Good question.
David.
Well, I didn't do it.
Oh, we need to use the one. We need to cut out the wizard cat from the calendar.
Yeah.
Because that one is. And that will be our magic related vocabulary bullet point when we get that done. Ow, I just hit my knee as I tried to move. And not in a good spot. Okay. So you said the caster may end up being a word that we borrow.
We don't have a word for ancestor? The whole time? Wow.
That really surprises me. Was that just like on our list of words that we thought we would end up making, maybe?
Like, the word ancestor doesn't appear anywhere in the document.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
We have a word for crypt.
That's where the ancestors are kept.
Oh, the only one I have here is the dead. You know, the living versus the dead.
Yeah.
And that was just like an idea. We had created, though, a sort of mythology for them, right? Where the stars were the ancestors.
Yeah.
And so could we build something on star?
Yeah, it's already an augmentative. Far is, or a proto-far, modern fa. And so, let me see, is it a prefix? It's actually a suffix.
But how do true compounds work? Because what if we had like star compounding with possum?
It's really lovely. So our word for possum is ji, which is long. And I think that technically our modifiers come first.
They do. I was not prepared for that.
It's like the really unsettling version of Mr. Rogers.
Mail trap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is there. Follow the nouns they modify. For the bulk of modification, Tpaalha adjectives, such as they are, follow the nouns they modify and co-occur with post-adjectival particles. Wait. Tpaalha has a small number of true adjectives which are invariant in form and precede the nouns they modify. Right. So no, they come first. So it would be Faruji. And let's, do you want to go to Lexergy and we can plug those things in?
I know Kelsey is a little in the way here. Kelsey is quite large, larger than the desk.
Kelsey's going to go over to the chair so he can look lovingly at me.
There we go. I forgot what the forms were. I was hoping it would just be on the list here.
If you ever decide to look into him, Mr. Rogers is actually really, really wonderful. Like Bob Ross and Dolly Parton. And I remember one of the Mr. Rogers anecdotes that I like the best is he received a daytime Emmy, I think it was, for his program. And when he got up there to accept his award, he said something to the effect of, I'm very honored to get this, but truly, this wasn't the only reason I'm here is because of the many people who've helped me along the way. And all of you in the audience are also people in the entertainment industry who've also had a lot of people help you along the way to get to where you are. So what I'd ask you to do is I want us to all pause, and I want you to take a moment and think of the people who have helped you along the way to be where you are. And then he just stopped and stood silent for a moment. And the camera actually panned around and looked at people in the audience, and you could see them tearing up as they were thinking about it. And then after he paused for a moment, he said, "Thank you very much," and he left the stage.
Did you watch the movie with Tom Hanks?
No, I never did. I wanted to do that.
It was quite good. And it was also like, I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's based on a true story.
Yeah, it was. And also, like, though it outlined like how much effort he had to go through to actually get it and keep it on the air. The show,
yeah.
because it was, meant to be a friendly, happy place for kids to learn, good lessons in life. And let's just say the entertainment industry was not necessarily stoked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, it's quite nice. But Farji.
Yeah, actually that works out. I was worried it would be too long, but of course those mid-vowels drop out in between consonants. And so, yeah, I think Farji is really good. I will go ahead and do what I need to do to enter that.
And that's also nice because if you recall, the word for star is also in our compound that means flag or banner. And then that ended up being actually incorporated by accident into the design. We had forgotten that that was our word for flag that we had created, but then we added a star to the flag that David created. And so like that's kind of cool because then it's sort of like a nod to the ancestors.
Yeah.
On the flag.
What a word. Farmpona or Farmpana.
Oh yeah, it's actually quite awful, but what a word is yeah, something to say. Okay, also the mail drop did not quite go all the way through, so there's this like letter sticking in and out of our house, and I just needed to pull that through. Such a bizarre situation over there in our corner.
All right. And yeah, that's right. So then we just put that. Yeah.
Oh, and I can put ancestor down below. We need the, no wait, we don't need any marking of stress because it's predictable because it ends in a consonant. So like I don't need an acute accent in Farji. Is that correct, David?
Yes.
Excellent.
And then this is just...
package.
Are you serious?
Oh, do you want me to go check and make sure it is actually a package? I just assumed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it probably is. But I will go check.
Hopefully they ring again if it's not. Whew.
Okay.
Ooh, Mateus, we could have a party in our house.
Okay, there we go. I'll be right back.
Though I think I saw them walk by, but any chance that we can see that T-shirt in its entirety again is very exciting. Goodness! Apparently a whole stack. Yeah. Well, good thing I sent him out there. I don't have to carry all this stuff in. Okay. Now, we have a word for ancestor, which means now we can think about what we need to do for words for...
Yeah, but it's kind of a long word. Okay.
Just a second.
Oh my God. Wow.
We don't have say, speak, or talk. I was thinking, what if we did... I can't believe this is not... Okay. What if for one of the words for necromancer, we have a star talker or a star whisperer?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have whisper. We don't have talk. We don't have speak. What were we doing this season, David?
You know what we have?
I don't even, do I want to know?
We have hiss.
But that's like used for negation, and that's used for like.
Oh, I'm not saying we should use it, but like that was where our priorities lay back then. It's like we made sure to get hiss.
Yeah, but we used it, and that's why we have it. I don't think we would have necessarily had it otherwise. We do, however, like beat, weave, like we have a lot of really random things. But we don't have anything about talking, speaking, whispering, etc., etc. So, David, do you like the idea? If you do, we can move forward with creating parts. If you don't like it, then let's move on, because I have a feeling that whatever you do like semantically, we're going to need to create words for. And so let's land on an idea you like before taking that time.
Well, let's...
They who listen to the hissing stars. Oh, Mateus, this was actually when my parents went to Europe. This sweatshirt is actually from when I was in 7th grade, and I've had it ever since. And yeah, my parents brought it back from. They stayed in Holland and visited the area. Although they did more areas, not only in Holland but in the full Netherlands area, and then also went into Belgium and other places. What?
Did you contrast Holland with a different place called the Netherlands?
I believe Holland is actually a smaller area. Like, I believe not all of the Netherlands is Holland, but Holland is in the Netherlands.
Really?
I believe that is geographically how it is considered to people who live there. I may be wrong, though, and I bet Mateus would be able to tell me if I... Thank you. Okay, Holland is a part of the Netherlands.
Really?
Okay. Oh, it's... I like that, Narmo. It's one of the Netherlands. Okay, it's like England to UK. Perfect.
Is it because California? Is it because you talking about places that like aren't even connected geographically, like the Netherlands and Antilles? Or
it was like a... I guess in my mind, I thought of it as like a larger than a county, but like a district. I'm losing my...
Holland is a geographical region and former province on the western coast of the
Province is
Netherlands.
the word I was trying to think of.
How about that? And indeed, it's not even the majority part.
Mm-mm. But it is where Amsterdam is.
Yeah, but not where Groningen is. How about that? But it's also not a single province? Or...
Yes, that region. And so...
Former province, but it was broken up. Okay.
So anyway, Mateus, the sweatshirt goes way back to when I was in 7th grade, and my parents brought it back home from their grand European vacation that I was not invited to that year. And yeah, I dug it out of my drawer because I was like, I haven't worn this in forever, and it was a throwback. So
divided into
Throwback Thursday
into North Holland and South Holland. No. Huh.
Okay.
Whoa!
Before I got sidetracked on answering that.
The Netherlands, until January 2020, the Netherlands officially dropped its support of the word Holland for the whole country, which included a logo redesign that changed Holland to NL. What logo are they talking about? Did the country have a logo?
I feel like for some sort of flag, or just like what you would see on crests or scoreboards or something, maybe?
Like,
I don't know.
Somebody tell me about this logo that they're talking about, because of course the flag has no words on it.
Yeah, Alice, that would be quite the endeavor just for you to come photobomb here. Mateus is saying, yeah, historic province, now two provinces. Holland was one of the constituent counties of the HRE that went on to form the United Netherlands.
Mm.
And they used to advertise for tourism as Holland.
Jake says the McCain NL logo, which used to be McCain Holland.
That's exactly right.
Oh
yes.
My goodness.
You're right, Graham. That's a really good sort of analogy there. Like calling the Netherlands Holland would be like calling the United States New England.
Yeah.
A region of it that has several states, but like is not all. So, anyway.
Yeah. All right. So here's the only issue in it. It's not a semantic issue. It is a language issue with Star Speaker. In order to get from speak to speaker, whatever that verb is going to have to be, it's going to need to start with pull and end with me.
And then putting star in between that.
If you'll remember, our word for singer is plasny. And that was actually why we had plasny for singer, but then we didn't do something like that for either of the rogues or for the soldiers, because they would all end up being blank, plus something ye. And they all might end up sounding the same.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good call.
So,
Jonathan, we all know that the Midwest is the heartbeat of this country.
In the heartland of California, in the heartland, Stater Brothers.
Oh no. Okay, so yeah, new idea, because you're absolutely right. Doing something like that would be too much. Now, when can you remind me? And you may have just said this earlier, but I was looking up other things while you were going through some of the magic background information. When the possums do their casting, what mechanisms do they use?
They carry with them something that their ancestors held.
There we go. That was what I was trying to remember. Like, I swear you said that before, but my brain was not on it. Okay. Okay. So what do you think then about naming the necromancers after specific objects that they carry with them, and kind of making the objects different for the three different levels, and doing something to the root of the noun, whether it's a compound or like a derivation, like an augmentative form, based on the object. So like if the 2-star carried around a glove. I don't know why glove was the first thing that came to my mind. These possums need gloves, David. But like if the glove were the object, then they would be the glove, whatever, like star glove or whatever. We probably don't want star in all of them, because that's going to also sound very familiar, a little too similar across the board.
The star is, we don't have it as an augmentative, we have it as an ameliorative.
Okay.
The augmentatives, we have hush, which I think is mother, isn't it?
Yes.
And then we have zli. Wow.
I don't even know where that comes from, so we don't even... How do we not have... Oh, I didn't see the Z entries. I was like, how do we have a Z word? We don't have entries. Okay, so mother and father. Oh, that could be interesting. Use augmentatives for mother and father for different forms for the necromancers, depending on... I mean, not as any sort of reflection of their status or anything, but just the reflection of what they're carrying around and their relationship to it. So essentially, we could give each of the necromancers their own little identities in their names.
Yeah, and I think that we should only have one of them be a father, just because the darn word's going to have to start with zli.
Oh, that's awful.
But let me tell you, Zhuli is much better than Zhini.
Oh my god. So we need whatever we put with the father
It's
prefix
got to start with
to start with a very
vowel.
specific thing, because you know what? No, I'm gonna go to this
Yeah, go
entry.
ahead.
I just want everybody to see what is made me go, what? Look at this entry right here that I've highlighted for leaf. I'm gonna double click on it too to make sure it's super highlighted on your screen. The one next to it is bad too, but like this one to me is especially bad. This is the word for leaf.
Things that make you go.
I mean, like, yeah. Jake, did you just rename KopiCon as LangCon? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we don't want that in the game because people, first of all, not only are going to turn that into a 6-syllable word, zilizidia, but like that's just awful to look at. And same for what happens to nose. David's going to be the possum. I'm going to be the average English speaker.
Okay, Zignan.
And then Ziriniyan.
Yeah. And we have, but at least with, Zliuti.
Ziliuti.
Yeah.
We get closer. See, like, it's never going to be quite what is intended, but even knowing what's intended, I can't say it. So I may as well be a river possum Zuliuti.
And incidentally, in case you're wondering, the protoform for father is very simple. It's a r, so retroflex z, e, and then retroflex l. So it would have been rel, right? Rel, which is no big deal. But the thing is, when that gets reduced, the e drops out. It palatalizes the r, and so it becomes a j, which palatalizes the lia. And we have demonstrated that we can actually have a difference between essentially zlia, zlia, and zlia. And so because of that, we have to,
Jake, you had to bring that up. Did you see what Jake wrote? They reminded us of what people tried to call our event, the Conlang Extinction event.
Oh, God.
For anyone not in the know, that was an attempted name of our conference, as if we would all go extinct once it happened.
Yes, this is true. Oh, wow.
Patrick, that is a great question. And I think, honestly, it just came out of David and I had met with people and we had said, like, basically what kind of lineup we were having. And it was a once in a lifetime kind of lineup. I'm not even sure we can get everybody again, even if we did it. But at that point, it definitely was going to be this is sort of a crazy lineup of getting all of these people in one room to present, or as much in one room as we could, since Paul couldn't travel at the time. But they ran with that idea that this was sort of a once in a lifetime, and they're like, well, it's never going to happen again. And if it's never going to happen again, then you could think of it as being an extinct possibility. But when you call it a conlang extinction event, it's like, it made it sound like we were trying to kill conlangs, and it's like, this is not what we are doing. We're trying to, in fact, keep spreading the joy of conlanging. And so, yeah, it just was sort of one of those things where when it was said, it made us laugh. And I think that was interpreted as us supporting it because we laughed. They did not understand that we were laughing, because it was like, oh, that's what you think, huh? And so anyway, it took some pushback from us to say, no, it's going to be called KopiCon, even if only people in the LangTime community understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, on the recipient's behalf, that was part of their problem, was that nobody was going to know what KopiCon was.
But like with a conlang extinction event, you know exactly what that is.
The dinosaurs.
You show up for conlangs, you're not coming back.
You're right, Graham. The thought was that everyone would be so blown away by David's jelly bean language that everyone everywhere in the world would give up conlanging forever, because they would understand there is nothing more that they could do with the art than what David had already done. And therefore, it would be just over. And Jake, yes, it was also a rebellion of the Tpaalha speakers who were going to say it's done. Woo! Oh, hey, Kay.
Hey!
And David was indeed the meteor that was hitting us all. I was a cute dinosaur. I was a brontosaurus before David's meteor. Okay, David.
I have a way out of this.
Did you find one where it doesn't? I like how I switched to Lexergy, like I can show what's on your screen, but
Here.
I can type, or I can hand you the keyboard.
Yeah, this is probably going to be easier just due to the. Well, maybe not.
Do you want it on IPA?
Yes.
Just stop for a second. There we go.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's our prefix. Okay. So let's get rid of that. We're already done with that. Now, if you put gel or gel in front of lots of things, you know, like, I don't know, something like that.
Showman.
You get, you know, the Julien, right? But if you put it in front of something that begins with a vowel, we see that it is a little bit better. Zliat. However, if you put it in front of something that palatalizes, the L disappears. So we have jit. And it's like if you want to make it long by making it voiced, the L still disappears, and it's like, you know, jet. So
Nice.
This is what I think we can do.
Yes.
Does Tpaalha have an H in the protoform? I don't think it does. I don't think it does, actually. I think that's just a thing where it doesn't know that that's not a symbol. Let me see.
No.
No, it doesn't have an H in the protoform, but it does have an H in the modern, which means that there's just nothing in there that tells you that that's illegal, but it is legal. But let's take a look at, to make sure. Okay, so what? Lilian, okay, the R disappears there. Lilian, okay, the R just disappears. Let's see if we put an L. Boy. Lilian, okay, the L stays. So then I think that our options are pretty limited. We need something that begins with a vowel, and the vowel can be E or E.
Do you see this word?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, sorry.
Let's see what happens with. Okay, we're gonna do. That. We're gonna do. That, and then we're gonna do this. And then just for the heck of it, let's put in a schwa as well.
Oh, we could also.
Go ahead.
Does the upside down caret do the same as the schwa?
No.
Is that one you wanted to try? No,
no.
That's not a palatalizing.
Oh, I just want to see. Okay. So it looks like it can't be one of the. To get rid of that L, it really has to be A or E. So we are looking at a VC or VCV form that begins with or E?
Actually curious.
Here, actually, you know what? Throw in another vowel on the end of one of those forms. I want to make sure that the stress shift doesn't screw anything up. Just any vowel.
Oh, wait, do we not have a...
Yeah.
Whoops.
That's fine. That's fine, I think. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, so there we go. VC or VCV form has to begin with E or E. And this should be some sort of a basic object. Oh yeah, good. Yeah, important question, Jake. This should be some sort of basic object that that an opossum might carry with them, something that would have been held as like a keepsake by an ancestor. And so anything like that, feel free to throw out meanings or protoforms. I'm going to end up doing a poll for the protoform. And then for the meaning, we can decide what the meaning is going to be.
And I was just out of curiosity seeing if we had any nouns. We don't have anything beginning with those forms that would be appropriate. So I was just seeing if by chance we had like something we could start thinking about. We need a basic root for an object that a possum could carry with them that would belong to an ancestor.
Could be anything.
It could be anything as long as it's, you know, again, something that would be basic, that would get a root in the language, and something that you would think that a possum would keep that their ancestors had.
But yeah, definitely more VC or VCV forms. It could also be VCCV, of course. We already have a word for rock.
Yeah, I've seen, and I was just out of curiosity seeing if we had expanded it.
And we can absolutely do cool rock for somebody. We'll just do it in front of the other one. Mother.
We don't have a word for feather. They could carry on a feather that
That's
their
true.
ancestor had, maybe used as a quill or something.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have cloak in the dictionary. Jake is suggesting epi for cloak, or you know, something.
I'm gonna take epi, but I'm going to think about cloak if that's gonna be basic.
Narmo is suggesting spoon. Magpie is suggesting spatula, so some sort of like cooking.
Yeah, that's
stirrer.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you're right, Patrick. But you know, you carry things around, and goodness knows. I was also thinking of like pouch, but not in their pouch, but like a leather satchel or sachet, you know, that they would just kind of carry around that used to belong to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And they should probably put it in their pouch.
So that probably wouldn't make sense. A little kerchief for their little sniffly nose. Cauldron or pot, that would be a big thing to carry around. It should be something small enough that they could carry. Do you imagine being on the battlefield? Like, you know, you've got this huge cauldron that you're like, I'm coming, guys. That's the 2-star necromancer, and that's just because he's always behind, dragging the cauldron. I love the imagery, though. So something small that they can carry around. I'm really just like, my brain is so sad that rock was taken that I'm just like, it's over. It's done.
Well, that's all right. As I said, we can use it, and it'll be, you know, chushchen.
But, you know. Patrick is suggesting ich. I think that's what hiss is exactly. I think ich.
Where?
Patrick.
Oh, I think the hiss is actually ugh with a barred I.
Okay. Oh, Patrick, like a tooth or horn or something.
Yeah, tooth is good.
We do have a word for tooth.
Bone is something else that can be taken.
We don't have bone.
We don't have a word for bone.
And antler is. Oh, look at this. We have small antler. That's fun. But I do like that.
It's for Tpaalha deer.
It is, yes, for that amazing illustration that they had done of our possum detective person.
Yeah.
Oh, what about David? Like a bit of string.
That's a lovely idea as well.
That could be one that they carry around.
Protoforms, we're rolling with CCVC. All right, so then, theoretically, you could get CCC in the middle of a word, couldn't you?
Theoretically, yes, but do we want to do that right now with these forms, David? I'm going to say no. What, have you seen some favorite results so far in terms of what forms have been suggested?
Not really.
Ooh, Jake has a Buddhist string bracelet that they got at Sale Pride.
That's a little flame game, isn't it?
Oh no, what did you come up with?
Imbu and Jimbu.
Imbu and Jimbu. Oh my, that is... All right, who was it? Was it Mateus who was going to come up with a twin god system with Oza Yamosa and Fuemu Gemu? Well, now you need, what is it called? Like what is Loki called? Where it's like the sort of like anti...
Trickster god?
Trickster, there we go. You need a trickster in the system called Imbu Jimbu.
That's really cool, actually.
That... And doesn't it just sound like a little trickster popping up?
Mm-hmm.
There's Imbu Jimbu again.
So we have emus and jimus for, I was trying to do a little version, possum version of Yamosa.
Oh, I do like that. That's nice.
Something with a long vowel, I think. Would be nice.
With a long vowel?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to make it long?
Yeah. So like Ed and Jaled.
Just needs to end in a consonant, right? Because isn't that how they bend?
It needs to end in a voiced consonant. So yet and yet.
Okay.
Let's see. Yim. Yek.
Like I'm still just like trying to think of what basic objects.
I think I'm gonna put together a poll, and again, this is just for the sound of it. It's not for the meaning. For the meaning, we're just gonna have a discussion here. But I'm gonna give you 4 forms, and each of them are gonna have 4 forms.
Ooh, and our Knight Petrichor says shawl, and not necessarily that needs to be the word, but that was my Luxembourg entry for Joadi today, was the word for shawl.
Followed by the augmentative, which will be the name for one of our
Why don't you say which will be a name? Surely you all know, if you're watching this far, if we say it's a name, surely you know what we're talking about. Okay. Oh, yeah, Jake, maybe a little doll or something. That would be another good thought.
I'm going to do these in the romanization, if you don't mind.
Please do. A skull. It does feel very possum.
Yeah.
Very metal. Very hardcore.
Yeah, I like that.
So I do actually like the idea of one of these words. You know, we'll end up needing to create 3 words, but like one of them being bone. Like, oh no, Patrick. Like I'm totally on board with that. Like I think that that's pretty hardcore. And even though tooth wouldn't work for this one, we can return to the idea of using the noun for tooth for the other augmentative and see how that would work. So if we like the idea of tooth, we can put those forms together and see. It's just this particular augmentative that would not be great.
Okay, so can you keep that open? So listen very carefully to how these are pronounced, because of course this is a very difficult language. So on the left, this will be the form for just whatever this object is, and we're going to decide that afterwards. And those are inyi, imbu, imuz. Yes, imuz. So, okay, inyi, imbu, imuz, yek. And then we have jinyi, jimbu, jimuz, and yek.
There was one vote that happened real fast, and I'm pretty sure it was Jake voting for Jake.
You're already a name in this, by the way. Because we have
shell,
the farjak,
which is the star shell.
Yeah, so we have the farjak and kunjak are both the they're both the soldiers. But
oh, Patrick says, I think I was the first to vote for Jake. So I was throwing out a guess that was absolutely wrong. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, and so
that is true, though.
I think Inyi was Patrick's suggestion. We have Imbu, which I think was mine, and then Imuz was coming from Oza Yamosa because the protoform was Imza. But
we need to like get Kopiko ready.
Yeah,
to celebrate.
I think that this is pretty well decided, unless Bibleridian comes in and changes the result at the very end.
Bye, Alice. Yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, anime fan, glad you made it.
Not only that, you know, Tpaalha speakers would be able to tell other ventriloquists what they were doing far more easily. This is a hardcore Sapir War, which is that if you speak the Tpaalha language, you have the intrinsic ability to be able to tell that ventriloquists are moving their lips.
Funny, but I also want to point out, I was watching as you got one Kopiko out of the jar and had to go back when you realized you did not give me one.
That's because I earned it. I'm a good boy.
Anyway.
Partner and darling wife. There you go.
Man. But yeah, is the poll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's done. Okay.
It's done. Yek and yek. Now it's
so Jik. It's Jik, but
it's Jik.
Exactly is what I said. But I'm just gonna say Jake when I see it.
Yeah.
We have Jake and Jacques.
Yeah. Oh.
Your evil French twin.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. No, that would be really good. If Jake had an evil twin enemy from France named Jacques.
Kopiko.
Cheers.
Wait. What, Logan?
Oh.
Dumping 2 cups of saturated sugar water
Don't
into a new pot of wassail.
Don't you dare intrigue me.
Not only did you drop it, but it broke. David dropped his Kopiko, and I see a piece down here.
It's no, I didn't. That's the thing. It had a piece broken off, and that's what fell.
He dropped.
I didn't. Piece. It was broken.
He threw the piece.
Kopiko, get it while you can.
And clean it while you can.
Won't tell.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, Conlangery, I hope that went well. Do you want to throw that away from me too while you're bouncing around back there? We now have a phonetic form, and we need to assign it some meaning.
Yeah. It's funny. It's actually done for what we need it for, but yeah, it needs to have a meaning. So we're looking for a meaning for yek. The protoform is eg, egg.
Oop, I meant to click on that. Okay. Oh, what level do we want this?
I don't know. That's something I want to
I feel like I'm just going to put it in the middle for now.
Yes.
Because it's going to be
no,
a different.
You're right.
The other two are going to start with roughly the same. And
yeah.
Was it Z-Y-I-E-K?
Z-Y-I-E-K, yes.
Okay. And so I'm going to put it there. We can always move it, but I at least have the name there.
I think that's good. I think that's perfect. That was a good thing. Yeah, perfect.
There we go. Jake, you break the rating system, and so you'd be at least 11 stars out of 5. At least.
Absolutely tops amongst the mediocre class.
Are you calling me mediocre?
No. Let's call Jake mediocre.
But you said Jake was absolutely top amongst the mediocre class, and if I'm saying Jake is my top rated, are you saying I'm mediocre class?
I'm saying you're being very kind.
I think someone got oh wait, gee. Britches that are too big.
Yeah, so it's just yek.
Okay.
All right, so this is where we return, in general, to some of the suggestions that have already been made. So bone is one. Bone is an obvious one.
Magpie. It must mean egg. That is one rancid egg by the time you pass it from generation to generation. Narmo is saying ladle.
I don't get that. Is the traditional color of Essex ochre? Or ochre?
That's a good question. Yeah, the 100-year-old egg. Man, don't want to crack that open.
It'd be like Cool Running Sanka in his egg.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I totally forgot about that until this minute. Well, we don't want it to be that generic, Patrick, because we're actually going to have the 3 necromancers named after different objects they carry around. So we don't want it to just be anything they carry around. We want it to be specific.
There will be a word for that, though, Patrick, so.
I like string. A bit of
like string? Okay, so we have bone, we have string. Patrick also has a good idea there, garbage from human times. For example, a spoon. I don't know what it would mean.
There's, as far as I know, Jake, there's no H in mediocre. So, like, everything else was fine with it. But, like, I don't think I've ever seen it spelled with an H. Even in British spelling-isms.
But
But yeah, spoon is good. Oh, bottle cap.
Yeah, but Jake is
Mm.
so unbelievably clever when it comes to wordplay that I just assumed that this was making some reference to
Jonathan and Patrick taking up.
like
Oh, nice, Logan.
like the people of Essex, or the region of Essex has as its like regional color ochre, or maybe it was some sort of flippant reference to somebody from Essex. You call them an ochre or something like that. I had no idea, but I just immediately went there. I assumed that Jake was doing some really, really clever joke that I didn't know the story behind.
Okay. So I really like, so going back, spoon and then bottle cap, I think are really fun. So I think you should do another poll. We should find our top 4 that we like the most and see what this particular word should be.
Bottle cap. Here's my problem with doing the human garbage. Like, what would it be? Like, why would they have a word for it? Because remember that the word for the ancestral item is the augmentative of some other word. So, like, what would the word be for, like, what would it mean?
Mm.
I don't know how, and I don't know if anybody's read these, but the Terry Brooks series, the Shannara series or the Shannara series, depending on how you say it, is set in the Pacific Northwest of America, like 400 years after a nuclear apocalypse or something like that. Apparently, all of the traditional magical things such as elves and gnomes and so on, they all existed. But in the times of humans, they went into hiding. After humanity kind of wiped itself out with a nuclear catastrophe, they came back. And then there were also like some humans that, I don't know, managed to exist still. Anyway. And so then basically he's just telling fantasy stories, like very traditional, like European style fantasy stories set in the Pacific Northwest with very traditional European creatures. And then every so often they come across like ruins that are like old like nuclear facilities or things like that. Something that, only people in our world would recognize. So clearly in that world, there hasn't been enough time, like that stuff has survived. And it's like, I didn't know how much how much stuff I wanted to still be around. Because it's like, if they develop their own language and own writing systems, they could theoretically actually crack older languages if they had enough stuff on there. And it's like bottle caps, things like that, they would have writing on it, or could theoretically. It doesn't have to, but anyway, I don't know.
Sorry. What about something that
could mean treasure,
means ring or bracelet? It really means any circular thing that you can wear, like put on and off. So I actually wouldn't imagine their little fingers are great for rings, but they could definitely have like a bracelet they slide on. Mm-hmm. And that could be something they carry with them.
Here, let's start. So, what will yak mean? We have bone. What was the other early suggestion?
Oh, I had been championing string.
String. That's a good one.
Spoon was a recurring one that came back several times.
It is.
I was also thinking of like no, never mind. And I like the idea. I think Jake was the one who mentioned that, like a book is something that is often passed down. My problem with that is that that's usually not a basic root, and it could be built on something else. And so I don't know how we want to deal with that.
I think that I like this idea, and it kind of sidesteps the issue about what specifically it's going to be. I'm going to create something that means an old world treasure. And so it's not going to be specific. It won't specifically mean spoon. It won't specifically mean bottle cap. But it refers to something that exists that is clearly none of them created.
Essentially a relic. Because it's something that they could have dug up from the ground that it's like, it's just there. And we would call it a relic if we were to find something like that.
Yeah. And then it'll have to be zero derived from something, but I think I do like the idea of bracelet.
Oh, Logan, that's awful. I wish you the best when you attempt to clean that off. That can be awful.
Oh, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and start this poll.
Gosh, season 6.
Yeah. By the way, I'm remembering that we have a word for thingamabob in Walk with Iji.
We do.
What was it again? It was like
Osayamosa.
Oh, that's right, Osayamosa. Of course. Could I forget?
With S's. Yeah, I don't know. How could you forget?
I don't know. Goodness. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to find out what this is going to mean.
Oh, yeah.
Although it looks like the OWTs have bonded and
we have a
banded.
We have a tie for second place, but I think that oh boy, bracelets coming back. Oh boy, it's kind of getting interesting. I think I'm gonna let this go for just a little bit.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Because then some that I would like to visit, rock can be brought back. We all liked that. And tooth can be brought back into the discussion for the other forms that come from the chush. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in Lexergy just to see what forms they are to decide if we're still interested in them.
Well, you know what I would do? I think, because we're getting close to the end of the stream.
We are.
We have 2 more. We know that they're going to have chush in front of it.
Right.
I think we take some of these ideas, since we have words that we already, created, and we just put them to a vote and say the top 2.
The top 2.
Yeah, the top 2 vote getters win. And yeah, I think I'm going to call this, and we can spend the rest of the time creating new words for ones that we don't have, if we would like. So yeah, Yek is going to be an old world treasure or relic. I think was perfect for what it should mean. Thank you.
Jake is an old world treasure indeed. I'll probably say your username wrong, and I'm so sorry. Widelewe. I feel like I tried this last week too. Mawod. Said that in Italian, thingamabob is often just thing, but used in a different gender. So thing itself is feminine, but you can use it in the masculine gender to say you don't know what the thing is called.
Huh.
And that's really cool.
Do you change the form of the word? So I assume that it's related to, like, cosa or chose in French and Spanish. So cosa, I guess? Do you say, like, instead of la cosa, do you say il coso? Or do you say il cosa? Just curious.
And Patrick made some excellent punnery here. Artifact. It's an artifact. And yes, la cosa becomes il coso.
Okay, il coso. Okay. Got it. All right. So I'm entering.
Oh, I should pay attention to what's going on here. Relic artifact. Is there another artifact that's spelled with an E? Do we ever spell artifact with an E instead of an I? Am I just like suddenly staring at that thinking it could be spelled in more than one way?
So I have an interesting story about this. The incredible linguist Mark Donoghue, who is Australian, or at least is from a university in Australia. He gave a guest lecture at Masha Polinsky's undergraduate typology course, which was an unbelievable treat for those students. I don't think they realized it, but this guy's an absolute brilliant researcher who's written a number of like full-on grammars of indigenous languages. One he's most famous for is Tukong and it was really impactful on me as a conlanger, I will say. But we were exchanging emails for a little bit, and he wrote it was like about his paper. Oh, that's just an artifact of the transcription process or something like that. And he spelled it with an E. And I emailed him back and I said, I always thought artifact was spelled with an I. And he responded, and I never figured out if this was a joke. Oh, he's like, oh, artifact with an I is for something you find. Artifact with an E is for something that, eventuates. In other words, that usage of artifact.
Fascinating. Artifactian, nice. And Narmo, by the way, said in the Neapolitan dialect, it's the thing made for this, which comes out as il fatta posta.
Il fatta posta.
I love it. Okay, but now I'm going to see just see if the dictionary at all. No, it just says British artifact with an E. Yeah.
What's the source of the dual? Oh my God. Pages just quit.
Oh no. Mine is still open. The source of the dual, though, let me see if I can find that, because I think this was before we actually were good at writing things down. It was the partitive plus,
it's the she
verbal
suffix.
Inflections. Oh, here we go. Dual.
She.
2.
Here we go. Thank you. Okay, so then I'm just looking up what egg she is. Okay, there we go.
Oh, for that dual form, make sure it gets in there correctly.
Ichi. Okay. With it, yeah. Okay.
It was interesting though, because like as I looked at the word artifact, I thought that it was supposed to be spelled with an E, but then suddenly I was like, no, that's not how you would spell it. But it's also, by the way, on Christmas, or not on Christmas, it was the Friday before Christmas. We were watching Artifaxian's podcast debut, where we participated in the Christmas quiz, which was a lot of fun, by the way.
Oh, we have a word for spoon.
But good to know.
Anyway.
But when I searched, because I needed to call it up on YouTube to actually watch it, because I didn't have the direct link, and so I was like, oh, I'll just search it in YouTube. I spelled it with an E. Art-E-Fexian. It still pulled up, so like it pulled up on YouTube. It figured out what I was doing, but like I thought that's how it was spelled, and it wasn't until like we were legit in the middle of the stream when I was like, oh, it's Artifaxian. So it's like I and then an E after the F. But yeah, I had spelled it wrong, and I've been spelling it wrong. I have known about Artifaxian's YouTube videos almost 10 years. Not 10 years, sorry, 7 years now. Probably about 7 years now. Maybe 6 years. I can do math. But I've known about it for a while and have seen them. And this whole time thought it was spelled, it's like him and Biblaridon. Like this whole time I thought it was an E, and it was really an I in there. Right. What is the word for spoon?
No.
Oh, well, that's kind of cute. And the nuta is tooth, right?
Yes, nuta. So they'll be very close. But yeah, so we have rock, tooth, and spoon. Those are great examples. Any others? Oh, we've got 4 minutes here, so I would love to get if somebody can remember older suggestions.
We didn't use bone, so we could create a new word for bone.
Right. So then we got bone and
which I thought was pretty cool.
bracelet. Let's do bone really quick. So we don't want us to start with N, that's for sure.
No, because we already have a lot of those. And this is going to go with hush.
Hush, yeah.
And let me pull up the chart. I just want to show. So it will just come out as hush in all of the forms, whether it's a closed syllable or an open syllable if we have a vowel after it. So
it will de-voice what follows it. So, if you start it with, if this word starts with a D, for example, it'll be like hushdam will be hushdam.
Oh, I kind of like it starting with the T. So let's start it with a D.
All right.
And then it'll de-voice.
Word for bone.
D and then barred I. Oh, wait, we could. Oh, no, I don't want super. D barred I. What feels like a bone? D. 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 D.
With an R?
Yeah, let's do R. Kushtur.
And then let's see. Yeah, so we have dur versus khustur.
Oh, Jake says a bead.
Bead is great.
That is really good. I like that better than bracelet. Because I feel like bracelet will probably be bigger than a root.
Okay.
The stream does end in roughly 2 minutes. We can go about 2 minutes longer, so we were 2 minutes late. But yeah, we're doing some real quick vocab creation. And
okay.
I'll
bone.
enter bone on the other side. How did it come out?
Barred eye.
I'll wait until that entry gets finished because I want to make sure. Oh, and a button is another thing. I keep a lot of buttons.
That's true.
From things. I, in fact, have a button that I have on my little thing over here. I also have little marbles. I keep a lot of rocks. I've got a little rock stack back here. D-U-R is how we're spelling that. Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure before I entered the English side down here. Okay.
All right, and then bead, you said.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so we have something starting with D, two things starting with N, something starting with G, I believe.
Yeah, because that's the stone. Yeah. Starts with a G.
So something else.
Let's do a vowel start.
Okay.
Maybe? Do you like that?
That's fine.
Ah. Hushach.
Let's see if it's a protoform yet.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Make sure.
Yeah, achel, which is the root for ant. Oh wait, I see. It's probably a longer verb, but no, that's fine. All right. Yeah, that's pretty standard. It's just or chishah. That's very nice. I like that. Nice and simple.
And it'll just be spelled A-K-H, or is it A-A-K-H?
It's just A-H, actually.
I
put too much in there.
Okay.
So it's a chishah.
So bead is A-H. Woo. I keep hitting the wrong parenthesis. Yeah, Logan, we are usually winding down by now, but we chatted a bit much, and now we are putting on
bead.
A lot of work here at the end.
And then let me see what happens to that when you add a shay.
Ooh, that was just my finger on the table.
Yeah, akshi.
Ooh, akshi.
Oh. No, akshi, because it depends when it attaches. Oh, that's interesting.
Do we have any other X roots for nouns?
Yeah. Yeah, we kept the palatal, so let's be consistent with that. All right. That's good. All right, now we have a word for bead. It's right next to a word for bowl, actually.
Oh, nice.
That might be cute too. Little bowl.
We'll add that as an option.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we've got 2 Ds, 1 G,
2 A's.
2 A's. We've got options. You'll be voting for your favorite, but knowing that the top 2 will win. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here. We hope you enjoyed this little revisit of Tpaalha. As a reminder to patrons, on Saturday, we will be doing our patron live stream. Also, before we see you next time, there will be a podcast episode available to you roughly around the new year, or on the new year if I get it done in the next 2 days. We have a...
Did we already record
podcast? No.
Oh.
No. So I got to plan and record.
Oh, and let's one more
time. This
quothelinguist.com.
quothelinguist.com starts. Conlang year is going to start on January 1st. So join in if you're able or interested. Able and interested, I should say. It'd be fun to see what you come up with. And yeah, we will see you. If we don't see you as a patron this Saturday, then we look forward to seeing you all next Thursday in 2024.
All right.
Until then, stay grammar.
Bye, everybody. I'm afraid you got to stop it. Yeah.
It like literally still said waiting to begin. I'm glad we were live.